Before we get into this next guest, we wanted to give a huge thank you to all of our guests, listeners, and advertisers for all of your support. Please spread the Built World love by leaving us a review, follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn, and subscribe to the show. We drop a new episode every Tuesday and plan to keep them coming. This next episode is brought to you by Bureau, our title sponsor. With 8 vibrant locations in Miami's best neighborhoods, Bureau is the perfect co-working place to work, network, and thrive alongside other entrepreneurs and creatives. Find your space at bureaumiami.com. Let's go.
It's delicious.
It's a Miami Spice.
Really?
Yeah.
It's strawberry. We got a jalapeno in there.
A little strawberry, a hibiscus syrup, and some lemon. And I picked this out because
This is off the 11 vodka menu of drinks, of cocktails.
I mean, it's incredible. So it makes sense. It's from the 11 cocktail since anything they do is incredible. So that's that.
And Miami Spice holds a very dear place in my heart. It's the first porn I ever watched.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to food. I thought you were going to tell me about your meal that you got for.
So on brand.
So
Was that?
it was late 80s.
Okay.
My buddy growing up, Craig Swerdloff. His parents, shout out to Bonnie and David Swerdloff.
Okay.
It was their porn.
Yeah.
And we discovered this VHS tape in their bedroom. And
So this is vintage.
This is vintage.
This isn't stuff that was made like 30 years ago, 40, 20 years. This was like 40 years.
This was close to 35 years ago.
35 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so shout out to David and Bonnie for introducing me to Miami Spice. And I was like, this is so on brand for 11.
We got to do it. Yeah, it's got to be done.
It's great. And you know, Miami has a great porn history too. With a lot of the companies that are producing worldwide content derive right from the Magic City, right?
Well, cheers to Miami Spice.
Cheers to you guys. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for coming down.
Pleasure. This is delicious. Made with 11 vodka.
With 11 vodka.
It's delicious. 11 vodka is double gold winner in the San Francisco taste competition.
Oh, yeah?
It's carried by best restaurants all over Miami, New York, New Jersey.
Very cool. Yeah, I was a former bartender, so you know, if my career in podcasting and real estate don't work out, hopefully I'll have a bartending job at 11, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if your look qualifies for 11. I don't know. We're looking.
Are all the bartenders there women?
They're not all women.
Yeah.
No, okay.
They're younger and a lot better looking than me. So
I didn't want to say. I didn't want to say it, but now that you're drilling down into it, yeah, it's kind of what I meant over there.
Fair enough. Well, cool. And you're a little late, but we're gonna forgive you because you were at the Sex Museum or something like that.
Yes.
So that's a great excuse. We're gonna allow you to take a pass on that one too.
The Sex Museum, a lot of people don't know about. I didn't really know it. It opened in Alapata about 5 months ago.
Oh, I thought it was on South Beach, on like Washington, wasn't it?
No, that was an old one.
Oh, okay.
It was that was like the Erotic Art Museum.
Okay. Yeah.
This is from New York City.
Uh-huh.
Guy Daniel is the owner of the museum who was giving me a tour. It's an amazing space.
Yeah.
This is like a really cool activity for a date day or bachelorette party or different things. I was impressed just to see it. I met him. He wanted me to come by. I was there and really cool.
Sounds
Cool
like a
asset.
great place to take a first date to really screen them out, right?
I think it will put the right thoughts in your first date mind. It's a great place for a first date.
The 1-2 punch of Alapata and then Sex Museum.
Sex Museum. And then you give them a little like Miami Spice also.
There you go,
And
right?
it's
Get the trifecta on that one.
well, then I like your chances. All right.
It's a strong move. It's a strong move.
Cool, Michael. Well, thanks for joining us. We're really stoked to have you on the podcast. You and I met probably about 10 years ago through Gridix, but we haven't seen each other since then. But have you done podcasts before, or is this your first?
No, I've done podcasts, and thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here with you guys in historic Overtown.
Yeah.
It's a great
And
neighborhood.
you
We're in your zone.
Yeah, we're in your zone. You own a ton of land down here, huh?
I love Overtown.
Yeah.
I really love this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because it has such a rich history. Our city's so young, but this neighborhood, there's like 3 churches older than the city of Miami. And I believe that neighborhoods and buildings have memories, and you can kind of, and you feel this like different sense of energy from the historical entertainment, nights out, music, hotels. Here at when Red Rooster, when the Pool Hall, or at the Urban, or different festivals are really cranking here, you feel this electric energy. And I'm so excited for the future of this neighborhood to see that come back.
All right, cool. We'll talk about that. But before we get into that, like, we want to go way back.
Okay.
I don't know if you've listened to the podcast before, but we kind of want to bring it back to like day one, even before that. And so you were born in Miami,
Born in Miami, Mount Sinai.
but your parents are French Canadian. Is that correct?
No. My dad was born in Philadelphia. His family's Russian roots, and my mom is from Michigan.
Okay. Why?
And
There's no Canadian at all?
we had a paper factory in Quebec City.
Oh, that's what it was.
So maybe that's
Okay.
the French-Canadian
Okay.
connection. We had a paper factory there until a few years ago. We recently sold it.
Gotcha. And so, but your parents, did they ever live in Canada at all, or no? No. Okay.
No.
Just big paper people.
My dad was. My dad manufactured paperboard, and he converted it to cartons. He had a factory here, which was the former budget car rental site
By the airport?
by the airport. We sold it to the airport recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that was a paper factory. Years ago, there was a big fire. After the fire, we didn't rebuild the factory, but we leased it to budget for a period of time. And then it was a park and fly. It's currently a park and fly. You could park there for a slightly less than you park at the airport. They drive you there, and that was one of our family's factories. But we had 20 at one point.
Are these like the stinky paper factories?
No, I mean, we would buy.
You know what I'm talking about? Because my grandpa was like I think a chairman of a paper factory in Wisconsin. I grew up in Minnesota.
Okay.
And I just remember driving into Wisconsin Rapids. I could smell the paper factory from like 10 miles out. It smelled like a skunk. Like,
No, this was not like that. This, I actually enjoy the smell of the recycled paperboard. So it was waste paper, which is like newspaper and other discarded paper products that would go into a pulper and then would be produced as recycled paperboard. It would come out on rolls or sheets. And then we had other factories that would convert the paper into cartons.
cool. I think up north we were just raping the forest for paper. I think
Maybe,
that's what that was.
maybe. Those are virgin paper to purchase. So yeah, you're raping the. I don't know.
So I'm sorry. You said your mom was from Michigan and your dad was from where? From Philly?
From Philly.
Okay. And then they moved down here?
So my dad moved down here first because he's older. He graduated University of Penn, the Wharton School of Business, and his dad owned this factory here. And his dad said, "Come down and work." And shortly after he moved, he was running the factory, and lived here for 70 years until he passed about 77 years ago.
So grandpa started the paper business.
Yeah.
Or is that who started it? Was grandpa?
That's who started. His father started. His father, and it was a story like came from Odessa when he was like 7 years old.
From Ukraine.
Yeah. I think it was part of the Soviet Union back then, but swept the paper mill, saved up enough money to send his family back, and then eventually ended up buying that paper mill.
Wow.
And he was a successful business guy. My dad was at camp. He wrote him a letter, and it was like he was illiterate because he never went to school. So he couldn't spell or couldn't read really, but was a great business guy.
That's incredible. What a story.
Yeah.
And then dad took over, and then
He took over and grew it.
Wow.
He took over and grew it and focused on the paper business for his whole life, but also invested in real estate and banks. He was the second largest shareholder in Capital Bank, which was a big bank down here founded by a guy Abel Holtz, which became Union Planners and then became Regions Bank as part of that.
They're always changing names, those banks.
They keep getting acquired.
Yeah.
They get acquired and they switch names. Yeah. But no, my dad was a great investor. Besides running the paper factories, he was a really good investor.
And what kind of real estate was he buying predominantly?
So he was investing as a limited partner with some people he had a good relationship with, and it was all different types of asset. It could be a home community. It could be an office building.
Predominantly in Miami or throughout the country?
Throughout the country, I'd say.
Okay.
But mainly in Florida.
Gotcha.
Mainly in Florida.
Not a bad place to place some early bets.
No. And he started a private lending company also that grew to be really big. And then there was the SNL crisis, I think, and we ended up with a lot of properties from that. We ended up selling off those properties over time.
Gotcha.
So you were born in Mount. You know, Felipe, ever since we moved into Bureau, my productivity has been through the roof. I mean, I might actually be getting things done for once.
The energy at Bureau just makes work fun. Plus, with 8 locations across South Florida, from South Miami all the way to Hollywood, there's no excuse for not finding a spot to get your shit done, Ben.
And we're not alone. Over 500 local companies call Bureau home. Everything from creative agencies and real estate firms to tech startups, law firms, and media companies. It's a melting pot of brilliant people, and we don't include ourselves in that category.
We definitely don't include ourselves in that category. Bureau really has space for anyone, whether you're flying solo or have a team. There are suites starting at 100 square feet all the way up to 2,000 square feet. They also don't try to lock you into long-term agreements, and everything is month to month.
Let's not forget the important stuff either. The coffee is top tier, staff is incredible, and has a very entrepreneurial vibe. It's not just a workspace. It's a place where work actually gets done.
That's right, Ben. So if you want to level up your workday like we try to do every day, check out Bureau. You might even catch us sipping some espressos between podcast sessions.
Or tequila.
Definitely tequila.
Tell Bureau the Built World sent you, and you'll get 50% off your first month's membership. See you out there. Cheers.
Later.
So you were born in Mount Sinai. That's Miami through and through.
Yeah, Mount Sinai, Miami Beach, 1977.
Wow.
And then you went to high school where?
You went to Ransom, right?
Yeah, I went to Ransom.
Where is Ransom, by the way?
In Coconut Grove.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's right.
Ransom's in Coconut Grove.
And you were living on the beach?
I was living in Miami Beach. I actually had the pleasure of attending several high schools. So I went to Ransom, I went to Miami Country Day for a period of time, and I graduated from North Miami Beach Senior High.
Is that by your own choosing, or?
I would say so. I beat them to the punch. I'll say that. I beat them to, bail. I left the party before it was over,
As one does. Does. Sometimes you got to bail.
Yeah. It's just, got to do it.
What a place to grow up. I mean, so many people are from other places here, so to be born and raised here is cool.
It was really great to grow up here. I still most of my best friends still are people I grew up with that still live in Miami, and now it's a more popular choice to raise kids and different things, but it was really a great place to grow up. And hard sometimes when you grow up to imagine the transformation that's coming, and you miss it a lot of times. You don't think it's going to be possible, and then neighborhoods transform. You're like, wow, but sometimes you participate, sometimes you don't participate.
I mean, I can't imagine the change you've seen. I mean, from the 80s to the 90s. I think this is like a radio show. 80s, 90s, and today. But so many phases of Miami that you've been through.
Yeah. I mean, it was the big Miami Beach phase for most of my earlier part of my life, where Miami Beach had all the momentum, and I would say more in the last...
It was like
90s?
Late 80s, early 90s, right?
Until like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I would say till like 2005, and then Miami started like coming on more.
Yep.
In terms of things take a while, so a lot of the neighborhoods that felt like they were coming on around 2007 people, stakeholders were working hard. I know 10 years before to kind of open businesses, build residential and office buildings. So it's a concerted effort that takes time, but probably like 2005, it feels like Miami really kind of flipped a little bit and became an entertainment and cultural kind of center, and got a lot of the momentum from Miami Beach. Miami Beach, for various reasons, kind of didn't embrace the entertainment and nightlife portion, and I think that ended up hurting Miami Beach today.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I saw you met your wife in Israel in junior year of high school.
Yep. So I did a program during high school. It's Alexander Muss High School in Israel. My son is going to the same program this summer coming up.
That's a cool program. So to be that young and travel that far, that's a serious experience.
It was really amazing. It was the fourth quarter of my junior year. Went to a neighborhood right outside of Tel Aviv.
So 17 years old or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We lived there for 2 months, given a lot of freedom, kind of almost as if you were like a semester abroad in college, kind of level of freedom.
Were you living with a family or an apartment?
Dormitory.
Yeah.
Dormitory, but you could leave on the weekends. No one was really tracking what you were doing.
Yeah.
So, no, had an amazing experience and ended up meeting my wife there. And 30 years later, we're happily married with 3 kids and going strong.
That's amazing.
So just going back to your high school, did you what were you good at in high school? What were your favorite subjects?
I was good at math.
Were you a good student?
No, I was not a good. I had horrible study habits.
Yeah. What were you more interested in doing in high school?
I don't getting attention. Just getting attention and having fun more. But
Like partying, sports.
I like sports.
Yeah.
I played sports.
What'd you play?
I played at various times: football, wrestling, lacrosse, those sports. And got into like surfing, I skateboarded, at that time, wakeboarding, and
Now we're talking some language. I'm a huge wakeboarder.
oh, really? It's fun.
I'm obsessed.
Have you converted to wake surfing now, or are you still wakeboarding?
I still wakeboard. I get bored surfing.
It's high impact.
Oh, you're telling me?
Yeah, the surfing gets a little boring.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I've torn an ACL in both biceps in the last 3 years.
Really?
4 years, yeah. I think as I get older, I still have the muscle memory, but I don't have the muscles.
Yes. No, I understand.
Yeah, I love it.
And you're a surfer as well. And
Yeah.
are you a skier too?
Snowboarder.
Yeah. So you know Ben London too, right?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Our kids play soccer together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think you guys went on a couple of trips together, or on a trip together somewhere, skiing or something like that. Right?
Yep.
That's right.
How do you get into surfing in Miami? There's no waves.
There's waves like 20 days a year.
South Point or what?
South Point, and also Hollover and Harbor House on both sides of the Hollover Inlet, depending.
Sharky up there?
No,
No?
not Sharky. No, I mean Sharky more when you go up coast,
Right.
like Fort Pierce
Like
and
New
stuff.
Smyrna.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Very Sharky. Very Sharky over there. South Beach is different sharks. I'm sure there's sharks, but no, you don't really.
You know what I'm
hear
more
about
scared of is jellyfish.
Yeah,
Jellies everywhere. And I've gotten them. I've gotten man award.
I know.
Yeah.
It hurts.
It's not fun.
It hurts. So yeah, so those 20 days a year, and then I went to college in California for a few years, so I did it more frequently.
Why did you decide to go out to California?
I just always wanted to go to school there. So
Where'd you go to school there?
I went to Pitzer. It's part of the Claremont colleges.
Okay.
There's like Pomona, Claremont McKenna, Harvey Mudd, Scripps.
That's more inland, right?
It's in Los Angeles County, but it's the last city on your way to Las Vegas.
Got it.
So east of LA.
Yeah. And that ocean doesn't fuck around over there.
No, I know the closest beach to there is Laguna Newport.
Yeah.
So I would go out there a lot in Orange County, and it's has a little packs a punch. It's cold. You need a wetsuit.
It just feels so much more profound than Miami's ocean. This feels like a little pool compared to West Coast.
It's darker, and speaking of sharks, like they're bigger there, you know? Oh yeah, the white ones over there, they could be. So, but anyways, it's not a big issue.
But it's fun.
You don't think about it.
I love being. I went to Glendale for. I went to art school for a couple of years.
Oh really?
So I used to surf at Zoom all the time. That was the spot.
So you were in Malibu.
Exactly. I had a buddy who had parents had a house in Topanga Canyon, so we'd surf in the morning, grab breakfast at their house, and then hit classes afterwards.
That's great. Topanga, that area near Topanga got whacked. Fortunately, during the fires. But no, Malibu is a magical place. It's so nice.
Yeah, maybe not so much anymore. I don't know.
It is.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, it is, though. I mean, it's interesting, particularly like the commercial center where the Country Mart is, where the Nobu is.
I mean,
That's fine. Yeah. All that area didn't really get impacted so much.
That Nobu is special.
It's the best, though. It's the number one mountain Nobu.
It is.
It is really good.
So when did you come back to Miami? You finished up at UM, right?
I did. My junior year, I was still... together with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. She was at University of Florida.
Oh, you guys have been together this whole time?
Yeah.
Since high school?
Yep.
Wow.
So I transferred back, and she immediately went abroad right when I came back. And but no, I did 2 years here, was a finance major.
Where did she go?
She went to University of Florida, and she went to Florence abroad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you came back to Miami, and then she ended up in Miami as well?
Yes. So she ended up...
She didn't fall in love with any Italian guys. It was like, I'm going to go with the next best thing.
She probably did, but she forgot about it. I don't know. Those Italian guys, you know, they're good for like a week or two. I don't know. But no, we ended up after college going to... Both of us moved to New York City.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we moved there, and she went to Gemology Institute and was the diamond dealer, and I went to law school at Brooklyn Law.
And how long did you guys spend up in New York?
We were there for 3 years.
So you got your degree and kind of got out of there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moved back to Miami.
Moved back to Miami, got a job at Akerman Centerfit in the real estate department.
Oh, big law, huh?
Big law firm.
How long did you last in big law?
I was there like 4 to 5 years, from 2003 into 2008.
Is that the Akerman that we know today, like the big Akerman?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
just dropped the center fit, huh?
I think they dropped the center fit.
Right.
Yep. It was Akerman Center Fit. Now it's Akerman. I guess a branding agency said this looks better, but which I agree with them. But it was at that time 200 attorneys in the Miami office. The real estate department was really strong.
And that's what you were practicing, was real estate law.
I was practicing real estate law.
And so where did your kind of, I don't know if you were passionate about real estate then, like where did you start feeling like I want to be in real estate?
It started really in like high school. So I started doing summer jobs and after school jobs in the real estate industry.
What were you doing? Like, what was your first job in high school, by the way?
So it was property management.
And you were doing that in high school already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your parents had you working well, not had any, but they were still
they were happy that
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a company, Investment Equity Associates, with a bunch of it was Michael Warner, David Garfinkel, Benji Garfinkel were the owners. They were very they were doing a lot of deals back then. They bought it was called New World Tower. I think it's called something else now. That's on like Biscayne Boulevard and 3rd Street. That was a big project that I was doing stuff at. It's an office building. Maybe it's called something else. I don't know. But it's still there.
So you're just doing like property management stuff there?
Property management there.
Any leasing or not? Little leasing?
Some leasing stuff as well. I worked for a home builder for a small period of time, also in high school. And then during college and law school, continued with like jobs centered around real estate.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you said we were at Akerman until 2008. Is that when you made the jump to, what'd you do at that point? What was that jump like?
Yeah, so I was at Akerman 2003 to 2008. It was an incredible time. Those years.
Bubble days, yeah.
Boom days.
Yeah.
I mean, within 1 year, I was like lead attorney on a 400 unit condo conversion.
Damn.
And
Look at you, Michael.
I didn't really know what I was doing. Good thing the paralegals knew what they were doing. I relied on a lot of those people.
I bet.
Ben, you know what they say in real estate, if people don't know you, they're not doing business with you.
Exactly. That's why the Built World podcast works with top of mind public relations, because being a best kept secret sure doesn't pay the bills.
Paula Uspa Abbott, the brains behind Top of Mind PR, is a former real estate journalist, so she knows exactly what makes the media pay attention.
And let's be real, getting in the press isn't just about bragging rights. It's about building credibility, landing deals, and making sure the right people know your name.
Whether it's top-tier media coverage, killer storytelling, or just making sure you're the one people think of first, Top of Mind PR has you covered.
Want to stand out? Hit up topofmind-pr.com or email info@topofmind-pr.com.
Because in real estate, if you're not visible, you're invisible.
That's awesome. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thrown into the fire.
Yeah. It was and title companies too.
Oh, nice.
Good to, good resources for attorneys to call title companies and make sure you're not going to get the firm in trouble, basically.
Especially on the condo conversion deals.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And we were closing a lot of units and it was busy and it was boom, and, had a lot of times, had a great mentor. There's a guy, my God, what's wrong with me right now?
Neeson?
That 11 vodka.
Nathan was amazing.
Yeah.
Andrew Smoyan, pardon me. Andrew Smoyan was the head of the real estate department at that time, who became the head of the firm. I did a lot of work with him and other attorneys, but he was really a great legal mentor of mine and an amazing guy. And it was very busy until like 2007, where it did 180 degree, and I went from billing 60 to 80 hours a week to billing like 5 to 10 hours per week.
Oh, wow.
And in retrospect, you're like, should have known something was coming. This was like a full 12 months leading up to Lehman Brothers kind of collapse, that the transactional market.
Oh, so you saw it just in the hours that you were billing, that things were slowing down.
Things had slowed down dramatically.
Wow, that's interesting.
And probably.
Were you at that point, like, I'm going from 68 hours to 5 to 10 hours, like something's up, or what did you think was happening?
I should have more, but I mean, back then I was more like, okay, like I could,
I can surf a little bit more.
I could go away this weekend for 3 or 4 days, and like the Vegas trip or something. I don't know. I think I was thinking more along those lines.
Were you married at this point or no?
I was approaching marriage. Yeah, I was close to being married at that time. Right around then is when I got married.
Okay.
So maybe I was helping my wife plan the wedding.
Yeah.
There you go. Bravo. It was her fault. It was her fault we didn't put puts on these REITs.
I know, man. God, John Paulson figured it out.
But when you're in the middle of it, it's so hard to know. And you'd only seen it once before in the SNL crisis, and you were really young then. So it's hard to have any. I mean, we're almost in it right now, and it's hard to know. We're seeing some signs, but you never know until it's happening.
Yeah, and that was so dramatic. I wouldn't have anticipated it would be so dramatic and so scary, and things could have gone really, really bad. And luckily, some decent decisions seem to have been made and saved the financial system from a real catastrophe. But it was wild, all these condos or people just walking away from their 20% deposits and and just going from a project that was supposed to make money to a distressed project.
Did your hours pick back up with all the workouts, or?
I was gone.
You were out.
I left, yeah. No, I left right at the end of 2008.
Okay.
And went into, my dad had someone helping him with real estate deals that he was doing. That guy had left.
And a quick question about the paper business. You had no interest in getting involved in that whatsoever?
So I did have interest. I'm the youngest of 5, and all my 3 older siblings all worked in the paper business. So I thought that I would also work in the paper industry. In my senior year of high school, although I was doing these real estate jobs and interested in it, I remember sitting with my dad and talking to him and saying, Dad, I'm graduating this year. I'm thinking about where I'm going to live next year. And Do you have any advice for me? What do you think I should do? And he said, I think you should go to law school. And I had never thought about going to law school at any moment in my life before then. And very quickly, within 1 minute, decided that that was a good idea for me, to have another 3 years of learning, being supported, being in a new city. Sounded pretty good.
Go to New York.
Go to New York. But it ended up being an amazing experience because the whole analysis, the legal training is really good.
That mind frame of looking at everything that can go wrong.
Yeah, it's really good for business, but it's also really detrimental as an entrepreneur, which I later had to like unlearn a lot of those things because you don't do any deals, you don't do anything because there's always obstacles, and you need to be a little delusional and kind of like had this leap of faith mentality as a business person. So luckily I had some mentors and friends that were, inspiring and helped me kind of overcome some of those challenges.
When did you realize what was the first time you realized you had like entrepreneurial inklings? Was it in high school? Was it later, after law school?
It was probably in the 2008 to 2012 period.
Yeah.
I mean, while I was attorney, I was purchasing some properties. So I had some real estate dealings, some interest, and
What kind of properties and where were you buying them?
So I was buying retail, office, and industrial. And in certain instances, I had high school friends that had very successful businesses that needed office space. So they were, I would buy a building with them, and they would occupy it, and we would build it.
Mostly Miami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly in Miami. So it was a lot of deals like that, but then I would find a retail building on Washington Avenue or Arthur Godfrey or in Design District or Wynwood, and would bring them in as partners too. So I bought like 6 buildings or something like that while I was at Akerman Center Fit.
Gotcha.
So maybe that was the start of the entrepreneurial.
And real quick, how did you come across these deals? How did you source them? Did they come to you?
Yeah, different.
Because as an attorney, you see like when there's a little distress, like
You see different things. I think back then it was more particular areas I was interested in, and there was a few deals that like were listed on LoopNet that I bought that I remember like seeing on LoopNet and ended up buying. Later on, like 2008, I left. I started working with my family. We relaunched a private lending platform, Hotel Financial, that still exists. My brother Ron and I were very involved. Ron runs it now. But from 2008 to 2010, I was really focused on that. And that provided a lot of visibility of where people were planning projects, where money was going, to see the developments. So, it was hard to transact in that period. People were still shell-shocked. There was so much distress, and banks were taking back properties, and it didn't really kind of unwind until 2014. But in that 2008 to 12 period, saw a lot of where money was going and where we thought the future of Miami would see a lot of growth.
and what were those areas?
So it was in large part the Park West neighborhood, where pricing was really high in the 2005, 2006, land price was up to like $600 a foot.
Dang.
There was Camilla's house was in the middle of, was right across where the Apple store is. Like Camilla's house was there. All the trucks that go to the port were going through there. There was no tunnel. There was no bright line. There was no new park line. But all these things started being discussed in like 2008. So the financial crisis happened and land prices there really cratered. Went from $600 a foot to a low of like $30 a foot.
Oh, wow.
And we started purchasing in 2012 in that area and really went big in Park West.
Perfect timing.
Through there. I mean, it was a lot less expensive than Wynwood. The zoning was a lot better. We had confidence that Miami World Center, which Art Falcone had partnered with CIM to recapitalize and relaunch that project. The Brightline train station had been announced, even though no one really knew about Brightline until the day it opened. Like, besides people who were like directly close or connected to it, like, I think in Miami, until things open, people don't realize they don't believe they're gonna happen. Yeah,
Everyone calls bullshit. I'll believe when I see it.
exactly.
Yeah, but by that time it's too late. Like, you really have to see, you know, you have to be ahead of the curve. Like, okay, let me connect the dots. They're building a port. They're bringing the Brightline station. We got Miami World Center coming. Like, you have all these things on the horizon. Like, how do I insert myself into that?
Right.
And be opportunistic about this?
Yeah, and it's best when you could do it in a covered land play where you could get some income while you're still waiting for the area to come, and that's often hard. You know, usually we don't do that. Usually it's land that's not producing income. Sometimes you could do short-term construction, you know, staging or parking that produces some. But in some instances, you know, we've been very successful, and what we thought was a covered land play, you know, turned into a very successful lifestyle brand business in certain instances.
Let's go back to '08 when you made the jump from Akerman. You mentioned that your dad had someone that did real estate investments for him, and that guy quit. And was that the role that you jumped into when you left Akerman?
Yes. Yep. So I jumped into that role, and it kind of evolved and changed. I think he was a very experienced guy, and just, you know, we moved into the debt position, and frankly, my dad was getting older and less involved, and he was more risk adverse. And I think my siblings and I were willing to take some more risks. So I think we maybe got more active and ambitious in terms of assembling land and you know, buying properties than he had previously.
Had your dad sold the business by that time?
He had sold a portion of the business.
Okay.
And later sold the rest of the business.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So the role of help investing the money in real estate morphed to lending, and then when did you launch? Is it Lion Development Company? Was that the subsequent after the lending arm?
Yeah. So Lion Development was subsequent to lending. That was in 2012.
Okay, and that's when you're acquiring all the stuff around here in Park West.
Yes. So in Park West.
All right, I'm hesitant to even share this next sponsor because honestly, it's going to make our competition even tougher. This is some real insider intel.
Yeah, if you're in commercial real estate and still buried in spreadsheets and busy work, listen up, because CRE Task Wizard is about to change your life. It changed ours.
This isn't some generic virtual assistant service. CRE Task Wizard was founded by former brokers Elijah and Kevin, so they actually get what brokers need.
Which is less admin, more deal making. Your teams handle research, data entry, listing management, lease abstracts, basically all the annoying stuff that eats up your day and nobody likes to do.
Imagine not having to update listings, dig through lease terms ever again. Even cold calling, you can focus on closing deals. They handle the rest.
And the best part, it's efficient, affordable, and built specifically for CRE brokers.
Want to reclaim your time and make more money? Go to CRETaskWizard.com and let the wizard work its magic.
Oh, yeah.
You know, largely in Park West, 2012 through 2017, kind of playing Monopoly, just trying to buy everything, you know, we could in the area. And we, for the most part, assembled a 4-block, 10-acre assemblage, which is 11th Street and North Miami Avenue is the kind of center. And the 4 blocks touching 11th and North Miami Avenue are blocks that we were able to acquire. It was 18 transactions over like a 5-year period.
Damn.
So it was, you know, at that point, then we were able to open one business. The first property we bought is where 11 is today. So that became a successful business. And the rest of it was vacant land for the most part until 2020. And then with Miami World Center getting more mature, the Bright Line opening, the world's kind of paying more attention to Miami, the opportunities opened up to develop the properties that we own, and we partnered on the 11 Hotel and Residence, 11 Beyond, West 11. We have another one coming that we're going to launch in a few months right next to that, and we still have a lot more land to develop in the future.
Was that first business that you opened, was that 11, the club?
Yeah.
And
So
did that building exist, or did you build that building?
So in 2012, we bought that building.
What was that building?
It was a business called Gold Rush. It was a strip club.
Oh, yeah.
It was a strip
I knows
club.
that place well.
Yes. And there was a commissioner. So going back, downtown Miami had a lot of slum and blight, and they were looking at ways of really activating it and getting some energy. And there was a brilliant commissioner who,
And who was that commissioner?
Arthur Teal.
Okay.
So Arthur Teal was District 5, which was Park West, Overtown. It goes into the design district in Little Haiti. Christine King today is the commissioner of that district. And he was a Harvard-educated commissioner, black guy. And he had the idea that portion of Miami should be like a Times Square. So he is the one who pushed and got past the 24-hour district. So we have a neighborhood, a small area in Miami that allows 24-hour liquor license. 11's in that area, Spaces in that area.
Are there any other liquor licenses that do 24 hours?
Well, the 11 Hotel is in that neighborhood. The 11 Beyond is in that. So the businesses that we open there have the ability to be 24 hours. I'm not sure if they will be. Corner bars in that area. And Miami World Center has the ability to do 24-hour liquor license also. In the city of Miami, that's the only 24-hour neighborhood.
Is that the only 24-hour liquor license in the U.S.?
No.
There's others?
There's others.
I thought I heard something like that somewhere.
No, and including in Hialeah Factory Town,
That's right.
has 24 hours. So we actually, I was a partner with David Martin and Oliver Jane, and we got that 24-hour liquor license. We ended up selling it. Avra's still in the deal, but David Martin and I sold our interest, and the Space guys and a bunch of investors and Insomniac, different people bought it, and it's great what they're doing with that property for the city of Miami. When there's busy weekends, they activate it, and they have like amazing 10,000 person events. It was very busy this past weekend.
Are you talking about Factory Town?
Factory
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So that's 24 hours. They don't utilize it all the time. They just do it on certain occasions, but they do have 24-hour ability.
Interesting. That's cool.
So Arthur Teal also, in the Times Square mentality, had this idea to do a large digital media district. And he had basically picked a property that had this ability to have large scale digital murals, and we bought the property. That was one of the properties as we were assembling land. When we bought it, we didn't even know that it was planned. Then we saw this, and we ended up planning a tower, getting it approved. Everyone freaked out. It was really the first big project besides renovating a building that I was involved in. And for various reasons, it didn't go forward. I mean, we had planned a 650-foot observation tower with 55,000 feet of digital media.
Is this the Innovation District thing?
This was in the Innovation District, and this was called the Innovation Tower.
Okay.
It was basically a media tower under the city statute.
And where was this going to be?
This was on 10th Street and Northwest First Avenue.
Okay.
So on the Park West side, there's two Northwest First Avenues. On the Park West side,
Nobody wanted the big screen. What was the issue?
the issue was certain people didn't want the big screen. And there's always a lot of underlying issues more than becomes apparent. There are a bunch of issues, but for whatever reason, we decided not to pursue it after the city kind of challenged it. even though I think we had the right to do it, but we decided not to pursue it.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I don't know, but it was a great learning lesson.
I'm sure.
And it was a lot of fun. But this Arthur Thiel basically provided for the digital media, the 24 hours, and this non-conforming use, the ability to have nudity at the site where Gold Rush was. That runs with the land. You can't move it other places. And we purchased that property. When we bought it, it's a 50,000-foot parcel. It's the same size as like 1,000 Museum is built on, more or less. And we looked at it as a covered land play that we would lease this to someone, and 10 years later, we would take back the property and look at joint venture into a condominium development. And when we went to lease it, everyone in the country was interested in leasing. Everyone in the country that was in that business, I should say, was interested in leasing it because the 24-hour in the middle of downtown Miami, not, large barrier to entry, no real competition. And at the same time, we started buying a lot of property around there, so really cared what went there. We didn't want a strip club to go there. And we ended up meeting our partner, Dennis Tagore, who was in the nightlife cabaret business. He was in the Hall of Fame and had the idea of this nightclub that also incorporated Cirque du Soleil theatrics and cabaret component. And we ended up, instead of leasing it, partnering on that business.
Now, I've been to 11, I think, once. So 11 opened up in 2012, you said?
14.
2014. I think I went there very early on, and I don't recollect. Is it full nudity, or it's not full nudity, right?
It has the ability, but we just have topless. That was an early good decision.
Yeah.
That Dennis, I would say, after listening to different opinions, came up with a recommendation, and it really allowed it to be a lot more mainstream. I mean, we have
It makes it a lot classier, right? In a lot of ways.
it's a lot classier. It's a lot sexier, in my opinion. Like, it leaves a lot more to the imagination.
Yeah.
It's a lot more.
That's why Ben loves going there.
Exactly. Right? It's a lot more woman friendly. I would say 43% of our guests are female. We have more bachelorette parties than bachelor parties. And it's just, it's just.
More bachelorette parties and bachelor parties.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's a great stat.
Yeah, I mean, if you're single, that's where you need to be.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
That's where the low-lying fruit is.
You know what? It's on a bunch of lists. The best place to meet a guy in Miami.
Really?
11.
Yeah.
So like, girls are there looking for guys. So it is a good place to
Listen,
go.
depending on how this podcast goes and how many drinks we have, we're only a few blocks away. So at least we made it there.
It's open. So we're open. We used to be 24 hours, 7 days a week. We have the ability for 24 hours. Now we open up Wednesday at 5 p.m. and we close Monday at 10 a.m. So it's open. It's open.
And it's open
but
24/7 during that time.
during that time, it's open 24/7.
Wow.
But it's really, I would say, busy from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is kind of the busiest hours.
Wow.
But when it's like Miami Music Week or Basel, like 10, 11 a.m.,
Yeah.
you know?
Miami hours.
Yeah. And it was interesting. Just yesterday, a lot of people sent me Mayor Adams in New York City.
I saw that.
You
clip.
see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
He was on some podcast, and he's like, we need an 11 in the city.
Yeah, in New York.
Yeah, in New York.
I was, you know Scott Galloway from Pivot? He's a professor, marketing professor, and he's like in his late 50s, early 60s. And he was like, I'm going to Miami and I'm going to 11. Yeah. I'm like, you dirty bastard.
No, people love it. And I think the secret really to 11 is the level of hospitality. Like, when you get there, they say, welcome home. Everyone's considered a guest. There's no customers. Yeah. And like, people really get treated great there.
Yeah.
So you in your life, you don't get treated so great always. I don't know if you guys are married, but after a while, your wife doesn't treat you so great. Your boss doesn't treat you so great. But it's nice when people treat you very good.
Yeah.
And you really had this amazing emotional connection, with a brand, I guess, when they make you feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well,
11 makes a lot of people feel
It's
good.
a really cool logo too. You know, like you have
thanks.
the E with the actual
Number.
2 L's with a number. Like,
Is that because it's on 11th Street? Is that where the name came from?
That was a big reason. Yeah, it's on 11th Street. 11 kept coming up to different people in the partnership and different reasons. So we went with it. Someone, drew this logo, and we all loved it. And,
The rest is history.
the rest is history.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's really a cool blend, right? Because like you have like this risque sort of, it's almost like a cabaret, right? Like, but then, I mean, looking at your drink menu, the drink menu is really nice. It's very curated, and we're talking to Eliani here from Bureau, and someone else was talking about like the food is excellent there as well. Like it's not like some cheesy strip club where like you got to get like buffalo wings and bad food, right? It's like it's another level of hospitality.
Yeah, no, it is. 11 is more nightclub, I would say. It has a large nightclub component, but on top, there's a restaurant on top, Giselle.
By the way, we had
Tim and Alan.
Petrillo here.
Oh,
Ben, you and I are all about prop tech. And if there's one tool we absolutely cannot live without for our commercial real estate brokerage business at Gridline Properties, it's Vista.
Absolutely. Vista is incredible. We use it every single day. And we're always wondering, how do they do this? Every evening we get an email from them with real-time closed transactions. No more waiting around for months for the property appraiser to finally update.
Yeah, whether you're doing industrial, retail, office, land deals, they have every closed transactions. And it's not just the speed, Ben. The details are on point. Seller and buyer info, contact details, phone numbers, emails, everything is accurate.
It's hands down our top prospecting tool to farm for warehouse deals in Hialeah. Vista keeps us one step ahead always. It's also the best way to search for comps when putting together opinions of values for clients.
Head on over to Vista.com and use code BuiltWorld and get 30 days free access today. VIZZDA.com.
yeah. So they're our partners.
Yeah.
So they run Giselle.
Tim
We have a-
Tim is so awesome.
Tim's an amazing
Yeah.
restaurateur,
We
real
love-
estate guy.
Yeah, we love shitting on Fort Lauderdale, and those guys came onto the podcast. They're like, "You guys got to come up to Fort Lauderdale."
That's so
And
funny.
they brought us up to Fort Lauderdale, rolled out the red carpet for us.
Yeah.
Just amazing guys.
No, they're great. So
Yeah.
they are our restaurant, and all the food that you order when you're in 11 comes from Giselle.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So, and we call 11 an ultra club because it really doesn't fit in. I would say it's more nightclub. We never call it a strip club.
Yeah.
It's not like Drake doesn't play. You don't get $25,000 table minimum. Like the fact that there's a cabaret component doesn't make it a strip club. Like there's 100 features that I could tell you that are a nightclub, and there's one that's a strip club. So if anything, it's a nightclub, but that's not even a fully accurate description. So we call it an ultra club.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you launched the condo building and the hotel. That's going up right now, right?
Yes.
They look like they're topped off, at least one of them.
One of them is topped off. One of them is going to start closing in January. So in 2020, we cut a deal with PMG, Ryan Shear and his partners. We had owned the land.
By the way, we want to get Ryan on this podcast too. So if you could help twist his arm a little bit.
Ryan's amazing. I'll mention to him what a great time it is over here and how good the drinks are, especially the 11 vodka cocktails. So we cut a deal with them in 2020 and launched sales, and it ended up launching at a perfect time when there wasn't that many other projects launching, and when people were looking for a social experience after kind of being cooped up with COVID and this idea of this kind of Las Vegas sort of property in Miami. I mean, we have 120,000 feet of commercial space at the 11 Hotel and Residence that, has a big day club. Mila is doing 2 restaurants. Deepak Chopra is a 20,000 foot spa, event space, med spa, big gym, sports lounge, cigar club, rooftops, helicopter pad. Like, it has a lot of stuff coming that Miami really doesn't have. I mean, it's going to be amazing. It's a little bit overwhelming in the sense of all the businesses that we're going to be partners in and be involved in and make sure need to be successful. But it's going to be really amazing. But I think people were excited by that concept of buying into a project that had all this level of entertainment and energy and excitement. And it ended up selling out in record time. In like 4 or 5 months, we sold out the tower.
What are the buyers of that? Like, what's the typical buyout? Because that seems like someone that wants to live in a 24-hour club.
And how many units are in the project?
So there's 475 units in the 11 club hotel and residence. That's Tower 1. At that time, we made a deal, actually with FTX, to convert crypto into USD. So we didn't take any currency risks, but we had 79 buyers between the two towers. We launched the second tower. 79 buyers made at least one of their deposits with cryptocurrencies.
Oh, wow.
So the buyers were crypto. So there was a bunch of people, obviously.
Crypto bros?
Some. Older people, like in their 50s, I would say, that wanted a place in Miami and also the ability to rent it out.
So there's no rental restrictions there?
No, so the first tower operates as a hotel. So if you're not there, you put it in the hotel pool.
Sure.
The second tower operates as an extended stay. So it's a condominium with a 1-month minimum extended stay. And that tower sold out in like 6 months.
Wow.
The second tower. So we sold over $1 billion of units, like very quick. And the second tower had 575 units.
Who'd you guys use for the sales team on that?
So PMG created their own sales team at the launch of the 11-1 and ended up being very successful. There were certain individuals and the brokers running it that were great. And they put together a fantastic team that was very passionate about the project, the neighborhood, the concepts, really believed. I think that's the most important thing in a sales team, that they like really believe that they are offering great value to the buyers. Our team did do that, and I find that that passion is what leads to the most successful sales,
And the buyers were U.S. or South America?
So Tower 1 was largely U.S. buyers.
Wow.
Because it was 21 basically that we launched sales, and people weren't coming in from out of the country. So it was in large part U.S. buyers, the majority. Tower 2 started going more
International.
And then we did a tower called 38 West 11th. That was even more international. That sold later.
Oh, so you're doing 3 towers.
So there's 2 that are the 11 brand. One is the address. 38 West 11th is the address. It's not
just another condo building over there.
It's a condo building next to the 2
This whole
11 brand. Yeah,
cool.
Yep.
So quick question, so you guys started the 11 Club in 2014.
Yes.
Did you think that you would develop a hotel and condo called 11 at that time, or was the brand just so new and it took a little while to catch on, and then you said, well, we can leverage this into a condo hotel, and now we're going to go into the vertical of vodka? And are there other verticals that you guys can see yourselves getting into with the 11 brand?
Yeah, so it took a little time, I think, to evolve the thinking of that 11, which started as a ultra club, and this evolution into like a lifestyle brand. I don't think it was initially the plan right away, but I think as we were talking about, and as I mentioned, people had such an amazing emotional connection. So we started seeing certain trends that really made us believe that this could be an amazing lifestyle brand. For example, hats. Like, we sell hats for $50 each, and we sell millions of dollars every year of hats.
Wow.
Millions of dollars that people go into the club and buy. They have this amazing night and they want kind of this emotional memory connection. So that really said, people are want to take a piece of this brand experience with them. What else can we do? We launched Vodka in 2020. We did licensing deals with the speakers that are company DOS Audio, and we're now their high-end commercial brand, and that does very well. And we get a nice check every quarter from them for sales, and we use them. And a lot of places in Miami use the 11 DOS Audio speaker system. We launched an NFT that has utility and benefits for at 11. We had a lot of events, and there'll be other things in the future around Web3 and membership and kind of being associated with it. So that's something that we did. But the hotel is something that made sense to us. But I don't know if we imagined that it would be exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the brand is become something that I can't imagine it's become as big as it is today when you first started with it.
The brand is well known. I'm amazed when I travel internationally, whether it's Tokyo or Courchevel, people know the brand.
Yeah.
You know, they've either visited or heard but they know it. So it's, you know, it's always really exciting for me and fun to hear
Were you
people's feelings about it.
Were you a nightclub guy before this? Like,
Not so much. I mean, I've been married for 21 years, so my nightclub days were Liquid and Mansion and Red Hot Chili Pepper on Washington Avenue. Thank you. So, but it wasn't, you know, leading up to 2014, I would say kind of from, you know, after law school, I would say my nightclub days slowed down. And still till today, I don't go to the club, you know, that often. Luckily, I have a great partner and partners that operate the club. And, you know, when I go there, I'm a guest at the club.
At least you don't tell your wife that, right?
Yeah. And she goes with me. She goes when I go.
no, it's just cool to be able to partner and have to pick the right partner and to have such success right off the bat. It's pretty unique.
No, it's lucky. There's really three of us. It's a gentleman, Mark Roberts, Dennis DeGore, and I, who, you know, are the ones who are the main owners of 11. And, you know, it is lucky to have good partners. I have a lot of partners. Some are not as good. Some are great. You know, some are challenging.
And how'd you meet those guys? Like, how did that connection happen?
So Mark Roberts was involved in Miami World Center. We actually did a loan to Mark. We had a lot of mutual friends, and we ended up, Mark, not only my partners in 11, but I'm partners in a lot of real estate with Mark Roberts also. So he's become a great partner, one of my best friends, really amazing networker. And
is he a surfer too?
He is not a surfer.
Oh, maybe.
No, he's not a surfer at all. He's a New Jersey gentleman who played college basketball. He says he never went to college, even though he went to college for part of the time. He was a boxing promoter.
Oh, cool.
And his real unique ability is to connect with people. He has more best friends than anyone I know in my life. And he has great relationships. And really, he has the ability to he's an inherently fair person, and he's a great partner. Dennis DeGore, we met when we were looking for
A lessee.
tenants for the property. We ended up meeting Dennis. And, you know, I thought we would end up leasing it. And as I got to know Dennis, and believed in Dennis and believed in his concept and his ability to lead this business and be very profitable and help the neighborhood, you know, we ended up partnering, and he has been, you know, an amazing partner too, who has really been incredible. And you know, each of us has our own strengths and abilities, but partnerships aren't easy.
No. And it's hard to pick the right people.
Yeah,
But the vibes were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about this because I mean, it sounds like you have lots of different partners, and some are good, some are not so good. I mean, what lessons have you learned in terms of like how do you pick a great partner? What do you look for in a great partner? And what are looking back at bad partners, like were there red flags in some of the bad partnerships that you should have been like, oh shit, I should have known better?
Yeah, I think that, don't ignore warning signs, listen to your gut. Usually, like, you get an indication one way or another of whether or not the person that you're going to partner with is inherently fair, good, wants the well-being of the partnership, doesn't love adversity and fighting and controversy. Some people really love the controversy and the fight, and I don't. My personality is different, that I don't. But I'm learning more to embrace, conflict brings you closer. I have all the mantras to, go into it, lean into it, which you have to at times. But no, I think listening to your gut, making sure someone's a good person, don't ignore, as you said, what people tell you.
What's going on, Builties? Ben and Felipe here. I wanted to cut in and tell you guys what we're working on. Believe it or not, podcasting is not our full-time gig. We're commercial brokers here at Gridline Properties, focused on industrial. And we've really identified the submarkets of East Hialeah, Opelika, and Golden Glades.
Yeah, we're big believers in those areas. The industrial warehouse space has grown tremendously in the last few years, particularly out west. The developers have been building product in the 100,000 square foot range. These areas, particularly Opelika, East Hialeah, and Golden Glades, have smaller warehouses, and we think those are going to do extremely well in the next 10, 20, 30 years. There's always going to be a need for small businesses and smaller spaces close to the urban cores, so we're extremely laser focused on these areas. So if you have a warehouse in the area or looking to buy or lease, or if we can help you lease or sell your property, reach out to us.
Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of value in that area. Everyone's getting priced out of Doral, getting priced out of Little River and Wynwood, and Hialeah is kind of the last frontier. And it's a wild west out there. So come on for a ride with us. Hit us up.
Yeah, like about people, like, because if, you have a friend who had a bad experience with someone, like, you'll probably end up having a bad experience with that same person.
So your partner is at 11. I mean, how long did you know them before you said, hey, I think it makes sense to become partners? Was it years, months?
So it was years with Mark Roberts, and it was maybe a year with Dennis Tagore. And it was, we didn't know him that well, and it was like very lucky, I would say, that Dennis ended up being the person he is, and that we ended up being the people we are. And there's so many things that could have happened, so many challenges and things that could have derailed that business from opening, or opening in a much different fashion, a much different form. But I think it was just, everything came together, and, 11 is it's a great nightlife experience. It really is very innovative and different. I mean, it's recognized as one of the top nightclubs in the world. It's the highest grossing nightclub per square foot in the world. And I think it's a big asset to Miami. Honestly, there's a lot of people whose favorite thing about Miami is 11, and they're very wealthy, and they come here and they spend at all different places. So it's actually a great asset for Miami, in my opinion, also.
How did you guys get connected with Tim Petrilla?
So I grew up with Alan Roth, who was best friends with my brother David.
Alan, he started Roomy.
He started Roomy.
Yeah.
He was Ready Bar. There was a place, Magic Garden.
So you guys grew up together.
We grew up together.
Wow. If those walls could talk.
Alan, 25 years ago, was like the biggest nightlife guy in South Beach.
Yeah.
For a period of time, he was the biggest nightlife guy.
Yep.
And you know, he is a great guy. And we were talking, he was actually looking for a spot for a pool club. So he called to see if there was anywhere in Overtown that had, if there was a building where you could put a pool hall. I said, I don't think there's any building right I could think of in Overtown, but, you know, we're looking at rebranding and relaunching the restaurant on top of 11. And he said, timing's amazing. I'm partnering with some incredible restaurant group out of Fort Lauderdale, the restaurant people, and we're interested in looking at that opportunity. And then we ended up cutting a deal and going into partnership with them.
Yeah.
Another good partner selection.
They're great partners. Yeah,
You guys are beasts.
they're amazing, great partners, and feel very lucky to do the Giselle with them.
Cool.
So what's next for Lion? I mean, you still have a bunch of acres over here, right?
We have a lot in Park West, so we're gonna keep going with the condominiums over there. Hopefully, you know, office product's good, but office is challenging. We don't want to develop any office buildings, but we'll sell it to someone who does want to develop an office building. I think Park West does need more office component. There's incredible residential and entertainment coming, but it would be nice to see some more office component. And in Overtown, we purchased a lot of properties in Overtown.
Can you tell us how many acres of land you guys own here, more or less?
So in Overtown, we're 10 to 15 acres in Overtown.
You're talking serious acreage in Miami. There's not that much land over here.
Yeah, so good land all east of I-95, south of 395, like in this pocket.
Sure.
So where the Red Rooster is, kind of all in that area.
That's your restaurant too, right?
Yeah, I'm partners with Marcus Samuelson,
Right.
another good partner, and a guy, Derek Fleming. And then, so that whole area all around, call from 8th Street to where the Metro Rail is on 11th Street, 2nd Avenue to 3rd Avenue, but there's like a little second court in between. That's all going to be redeveloped into a culture and entertainment district, working with the CRA to really think through. There's a group of stakeholders in Overtown that for the last 30 years have been reimagining what they would like their.
Oof, that sounds exhausting.
It's a lot.
30 years of
I wasn't
reimagining.
involved in it that long, but it's been
Oh man,
it's been about 12 years. or
somebody put a
so.
shovel in the ground. Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's happening now. It's coming. It's all coming. But
But we had to wait because this whole area, I mean, all of downtown has been like no man's land forever. I mean, World Center, every time I drive through, it blows my mind. The fact that there's an Apple store over here,
It's
where there used to
incredible.
just be vacant parking lots and tons of homeless people. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy the
Yeah.
transformation over here.
And we have a condo coming in Overtown. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, with PMG, we did a partnership with them, a property on 11th Street and Northwest First Avenue on the Overtown side. It's a 22-story condo that's 97% sold out.
Wow,
So
condos are flying off the shelves, huh?
condos are doing good. You need the right product. So the right product has been smaller units that are furnished and allow daily rental. That's right now what's selling. I think it's going to move more to like smaller 2 bedrooms. Some of the larger stuff, like in the $3 million range, is not flying, but things like under $1 million are still selling very well.
Vacation spots, really.
Yeah, people where you could come in for a few weeks and then lease it out, rent it out other times.
That makes sense.
So that's exciting. That's gonna break ground probably in about 6 months.
Oh, cool. Soon.
And Marcus Samuelson's doing a barbecue restaurant called Vibe on the ground floor there. So that will be exciting. And there's a lot of other stuff that we have in the works. We had a big mixed-use, largely multifamily project that we were working with David Martin and Tara on, that we're still working with them on. But multifamily is very challenging, so that's why that's why I see condos.
It's impossible. The yield on cost that everyone wants is literally impossible.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to like pull back and wait and reimagine that, but that's all around Red Rooster.
Well, you enjoy real estate development, it sounds like.
It's a lot of fun. I really like I like kind of being on the next to in the pathway of redevelopment and kind of activating areas, doing some of the placemaking stuff.
More the creative stuff. That's the surfer
Imagining
yeah.
neighborhoods, doing things very nice.
Right.
Like I like nice, creative, cool, but like higher end cool, higher end cool stuff. But
I saw. Are you doing the Jean Georges Tropic Residence?
Yeah.
And it's Edgewater, like on 36th Street, right? Is it?
it's
Or near there?
Midtown Design District.
Okay.
So it's actually in Midtown. It's the most northern parcel across from Target.
Is that on like 36 in Miami?
It's on 36 in the train tracks. I think it's Northeast 2nd, maybe.
Okay. Yep.
On the
Right by
side.
Lightning Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's right there. Design District's across the street.
Yep.
And it's a 48-story tower. Tallest building in Midtown is 30 stories. The views are going to be amazing of the water.
Oh yeah, because you have Blue Condo right in front of you, and that's only I think 30 something. So you'd be above that.
And that's like far, and there's so many other
Corridors.
corridors that you see big water. And John George, will deliver food to your place. There's a private restaurant. There's going to be a ABC market and kitchen restaurant on the ground floor. Amazing interiors. It's the well is doing the spa there.
Oh, cool.
There's one in Bal Harbor and Coconut Grove. It's going to be an amazing tower. And that's doing very well, and will be an exciting place to live as.
That's a great zone. I live just north of there on 39th and Biscayne.
Oh, really? You're really close.
Right there. Yeah.
Amazing.
I gotta hit that Philly cheesesteak spot. Have you been there yet?
I've been there.
How is it?
Pepe's.
Pepe's.
I hear that place is unbelievable.
Felix was talking about.
Yeah.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is really good. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, your dad's from Philly, so I feel like you might have some.
Some insight on the Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, but he lived in Miami always. But I like it. I like that cheesesteak is great. Speaking of cheesesteaks, the Shadow Wagyu, when they have a cheesesteak, that place Shadow Wagyu?
No.
Off of US 1, there's an amazing butcher / restaurant during the day kind of thing. And they have cheesesteak is like a pop-up that comes up. It's like a $50 Wagyu cheesesteak.
Oh, damn.
It's really good.
That sounds extremely good.
It's good. And that's Sonny's cheesesteak. Sonny's up.
We got to get up there. Yeah.
That's a good one, too. Yeah. So Miami's got some good cheesesteaks.
In terms of other neighborhoods, I mean, it sounds like Park West, Midtown, Overtown. Are you looking at any other areas to get in early?
Alapata.
Yeah.
Alapata. We bought a bunch of properties. And we're excited about what's happening there.
Yeah.
It has great access. There's mass transit with a Metro Rail going through there. Rubel has done incredible things, the museum and activating Super Blue. The Robert Wennett project will happen eventually. And,
Will it?
I hope so. More restaurants or something.
I mean, Hometown's pretty fire over there.
Hometown's really good.
Yeah.
So, but no, I think residential's coming then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk, especially with Live Local now,
Yeah.
that a lot of these properties will make great sense to be apartment, workforce housing buildings.
If you can get the numbers to work.
It's getting to a point where they're starting to work.
You need a little bit of subsidy, but yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah. And you're a creative guy. Do you have any other creative hobbies or anything? I mean, you're a surfer, wakeboarder, snowboarder. Any other creative pursuits?
I mean, it's just poker. We play poker
nice.
over there. Paddle. Yeah, everyone's playing paddle in Miami. Do you guys play paddle?
I haven't yet. No.
I'm a beach tennis player. You play beach tennis?
I don't play beach tennis, but if you play beach tennis, you'll pick up paddle quick.
Yeah.
It's racket sports.
Beach tennis is much cooler than paddle.
Where do you do it? Like 70s?
All the cool people play beach tennis.
Really?
Yeah, North Miami Beach is where he's at.
That's where you are. 70s and Collins.
There's like 9 beach tennis courts over there.
I see you guys playing over there.
You should come out.
I live close to that.
Do you?
So, yep.
All right, I'm gonna bring you out there.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Will you play 2 on doubles? 2 on 2?
Doubles, chicks in bikinis. Like, this is right up your alley.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll try it.
I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm gonna play beach tennis. She's like, okay, good. She doesn't know why I'm going.
Right.
But
You're there morning, day, and night.
I try to be there as much as I can.
That's good. That's good.
Staying fit.
But
Yeah.
it's actually it's a really fun sport. It's like it's a hybrid of like tennis with volleyball. And you're on the sand and great vibe. You know, really just social sports. So
Yeah.
it's just pickup. So you just bring a racket out there, and you know Saturdays, Sunday mornings, and even in the evenings, people are out there playing. So if you're into paddle, you should come check out.
And is it like Brazilian or any nationality?
So it actually started in Italy about 30 years ago.
Okay.
And then it's very big in Brazil, and Puerto Rico. And it's quickly picking up speed here in the U.S. So Miami's kind of like the epicenter of it now.
Yeah.
In the U.S.
It feels like that neighborhood. I grew up in Miami Beach, as we talked about. My whole life, I've been waiting for that area of Miami
North
Beach
Miami
to get revitalized. It feels like it's on the brink of actually happening now with Ocean Terrace getting redone.
But Russell Galbert owns a bunch of property there.
Russell Galbert does. That 72 Park or whatever is a very nice condo building that got built.
Yeah.
Where the Denny's is on Collins, they're going to build a great condominium tower there. Ocean Terrace will have.
They built a
Fan shells
they just-
activated.
Yeah, they just built a new park over there too.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's really nice. So it feels like in 5 years, that's going to change.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I think so too.
Yeah.
What else? Anything? Any haves, needs, or wants at all, Michael? Like, are you looking for any particular retailers or anything that maybe one of our listeners could be like, "Hey, I got something for you."
I mean, we are, we're always looking for exciting tenants. I think Overtown is going to get redeveloped and really celebrate the history. I think that will be an amazing area for business owners. There's certain properties that could work as university spaces or schools that we have. We have properties that could work as campuses or large-scale creative office developments.
By the way, we saw a rumor that a university may be going to Wynwood. Have you heard of anything about this?
I did not hear, but there are a number of universities, because we have property in Overtown particularly that would work well for a university, and there are a number that we've spoken to. So there are a number of universities looking in the Miami area.
And these are universities that are from the Northeast, or where are they?
Some from the Northeast, some from Florida, some from international.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, looking to have a presence, a satellite campus in Miami.
Cool.
Well, this has been a blast, Michael.
Yeah,
thanks
this
for
has been
coming down
awesome.
and drinking with us, and
thank you for
supplying the
having me.
vodka. You sent some 11 hoodies. I was going to throw it on, but I would have been dripping sweat at this point. So
Anytime.
happy to rep it.
Thank you guys for having me, and pleasure being here, and let's do it again in the future.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Michael.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.